Before we begin, I just wanted to quickly show you this pretty interesting app that I recently found. It is called K-Drama Amino Community, something like that. I'll put the link to it in the description box so you guys don't have to worry about the name of it. Basically, from what I understood, it's this big community of K-drama lovers, which, well, all of us are here. There are news on it and public chats where you can discuss your favorite actors, dramas, anything. There's an any good dramas chat, so that's pretty cool. You can follow each other, you can talk to each other. I, myself, am Mangarita, like I am on pretty much every other social media. You can go there and follow me. I will try to figure it out. I don't promise that I will, because I am pretty slow when it comes to technology and new apps and things like that. But yeah, feel free to follow me. Maybe I'll use the public chats option to ask you guys about what dramas you'd like to see me review and things like that. So yeah, just head over there and have fun. Chat away to your fellow K-drama lovers and spread the love for K-dramas. Yay! Hi everyone, I'm back to being your K-drama queen for today, and I am so stoked and so pumped to tell you about the drama that I'll be reviewing today because, thank God, it was amazing. I went into watching it having absolutely no expectations because I just didn't want to get disappointed, especially after, you know, our previous K-drama review, which just wasn't anything special. But this time around, I'm super excited because I will be reviewing W. Starting off with the plot, to be honest, at the beginning of the first episode, I was getting a little bit concerned in terms of how this setup would play out. I really wasn't sure the screenwriters would be able to really make this story special and interesting and exciting, but I was totally wrong and I should not have worried about that because the drama was super fast-paced. Everything was just kind of popping out of nowhere and it was super unpredictable, and that's something I personally love in a drama because I don't want to watch something that I can predict from the first episode onwards, you know? It's just not gonna grab my attention, but this definitely did. The story itself being not so special. I mean, yes, we have two worlds and one is a real world, another one is the comic book, and we have the cartoonist and then his daughter, so there is this kind of interesting relationship, but then I had absolutely no idea that he's gonna end up being a villain. That was such a surprise. Sorry for the spoiler. I was so worried when we found out that the killer actually has absolutely no face. I was super worried that, oh, you know, this is where the drama's gonna sink. They will probably introduce some random character that we've never heard about and he's gonna miraculously become a villain without any pre-story. I was prepared to not be happy about it. However, when they tied the main killer and the author of the cartoon together, my mind was once again blown and I was like, yes, this is brilliant, this is great. I also really enjoyed the involvement that the cartoonist had in real time with the manga itself. He could draw someone a gun or a syringe or place people into different locations. That's something I personally wouldn't think of when I'm watching a drama about a manga, so that was a great plot decision on their part. A couple of things that I wasn't really sure about and just a few suggestions that I would have for the plot of this drama is that I wish there was a little bit more foreshadowing when it came to Yeonju's ability to draw. Because until, let's say, episode 7 or so, we had no idea that she can draw. And we had no idea that she used to like it. There was like one little throwback about her parents divorcing, and when they were arguing, she was just like sitting there as a little kid, drawing really nicely and crying and things like that. That was a good throwback, but it just didn't foreshadow enough of then her being able to continue her father's work and do it just as well. It seems like her abilities just kind of came out of nowhere because, well, there was just no other way to save the day. You know what? It still was natural and organic because she is the daughter of her father. He is a really great artist, so seeing her dad drawing manga all the time, she probably did pick up things from him. But once again, her being able to like perfectly draw the things that she did at some point in the manga, I feel like someone who hasn't drawn in ages probably wouldn't be able to pick it up so quickly, but once again, we don't know because we just weren't given enough of a pre-story, and that's something that I felt was missing a little bit. Another question / confusion that I had was, how did the villain, the blackface killer guy, how did he manage to travel through space in the real world? When he was thrown into the real world, one of the times that he did, how did he just manage to go from being on the streets to then appearing magically in Yeonju's bedroom? I was just really confused about that. And I couldn't think of a logical explanation because this was happening in the real world, it wasn't happening in the manga, so he had no control of his environment. And lastly, A few times I was getting a bit confused what was reality, what was imaginary, what was kind of the author and Bong-soon saying, oh, this is what we want to happen in the drama, and then they would display it, or what was actually happening in the real world. Like, I was really confused whether Kang-chul actually met Yeonju's father that time when they ate together. I thought that was a part of the imaginary manga chapter that they're thinking of doing, but then it wasn't. I think it was real. So there were a couple of times when I was confused, but that just shows that this is a kind of drama that you need to watch really closely, otherwise you're gonna get confused. But if you do, it's gonna be a beautiful experience. Moving on to characters, I felt like everything was great. I really liked the main couple. They were really organic and they were very true to their feelings. I could see true love really develop between them. That was very refreshing because it doesn't often happen in dramas because feelings just kind of pop out of nowhere. Some of you may say that it was a little bit awkward at the beginning, how she was just throwing herself at him to get herself out of the cartoon, but I loved it. That was kind of the only time when the awkward, oh, let me give you a kiss, or like, oh, let me slap you, oh, let me, you know, open my robe to you. Those kind of things, they were natural and they had a logic to them. That was the first time I've seen those crazy things happen in a drama when it actually makes sense. And when the female protagonist actually wants to do them, because a lot of the times in dramas they just make those things happen, like, oh, it's a magical coincidence that the moment she undresses herself, the main guy walks into the room. Yeah, no. Here, I loved how proactive the main female was, and her character was really refreshing. Her emotions were great, except, oh my god, I was so disappointed in, the last episode, guys. I mean, come on. 15 episodes, you've been doing an amazing job. And then in the last episode, when Yeonju comes back from the cartoon, it's the last chapter. She thinks that Kang-chul died. She thinks that her dad is stuck in the cartoon forever. And she was crying in the hospital. That was so fake. So fake. Like, all of the fake. Her eyes weren't red, her face wasn't puffed up, you know, there were no tears on her face. It literally felt like by the end of the shoot, considering how this was the last episode, they just felt like, you know what, we're not gonna reshoot this, we're not gonna care too much because the last episode people have seen her cry naturally throughout the entire drama, so, you know, we don't have to worry about this one. But no, that's not how it works. So I was shocked, to be honest. I was just sitting there being like, what? Excuse me? Please put a bit more effort into actually showing that you miss the love of your life who you think died, and the fact that your dad is stuck in a cartoon and is never coming back. I mean, come on. Lee Jung-suk was great. He's a very talented actor and I love all the dramas that he's in, but boy, it is so difficult to take him seriously with his baby face. I understand that it's not his fault. I am myself an owner of a very big baby face. I mean, it's great that he managed to stay so youthful looking. As an actor, that's gonna add lots of opportunities for him because he can act younger roles as well. But man, it was just really hard to take him seriously at times because of his baby face. In terms of characters, I feel like this drama was very main cast focused. The supporting characters didn't really play any roles at all. The two girls who were working on the manga together with Bong-soo and Yeonju's father at the beginning, they just disappeared after episode 3 or so. Yeonju's friends in the hospital, they weren't really that important. They could have made it interesting and make her friend at the hospital like her, so that she would constantly have to kind of, you know, be like, sorry, I don't like you, I don't like you. But that could have made Kang-chul jealous, you know, because there were times when she would spend like months in the real world and he was just kind of in the manga world. So that could have made the drama a little bit more interesting, but again, I am not complaining in any way. I think being focused on the main cast is not a bad thing. There were some useless characters like Yeonju's mother. She seriously just played no importance at all. Once again, they could have tied her back to Yeonju's father and maybe have them reconcile at some point, or have him realize how terrible of a husband he was and come back and try to patch things up with her, or just something. I don't know. There was potential for that, but the fact that they didn't do it didn't make the drama worse. That's all I'm saying. Bong-soo was great. He was so real. He was a really awesome, funny character. So was the professor, Yeonju's professor in the hospital. He was such a perfect antagonist to her, hating on Yeonju's character in the manga and just being super insensitive and super freaky and weird. He was really funny. He was a refreshing character at times when the drama would get a little bit dense and dark. In terms of soundtracks, I enjoyed them. There weren't any soundtracks that stood out to me particularly. They were all pretty good, but nothing really caught my attention like, oh my god, I'm gonna be listening to the song on repeat forever and ever and ever. That didn't really happen. The background music was really good, very mysterious, very kind of like mixing things up from the manga world and the real world. It was very sci-fi. In terms of production, I give this drama a 20 out of 10 because it was brilliant. Absolutely majestic, magnificent. I can't even come up with enough adjectives to describe how good the production was. Special effects were so on point, I can't even. I mean, props to the people who were working on this drama and adding the special effects and adding this connection between the manga world and the real world and having people's limbs disappear and bodies disappear. It was beautifully done. In terms of small miscellaneous things, I honestly have like 3 questions and that's it because the drama was just that good. The first question is, how did the alarm not go off when the killer, the faceless killer, broke into this shop that had the news about Kangtol being dead? I was very confused. How did the alarm not go off? I get it. It was a very dramatic moment where he was just like, brah, ah, oh my god, how is he dead? Blah, blah, blah. I get it, but it just, you know, just try to make it a little bit more realistic. It would have been cool if the alarm went off and people like went out and saw this crazy faceless guy and then he would just like flee the scene and they're like, oh my god, what just happened? Kind of thing. Second thing, the fighting. Seriously, for a drama with such amazing production, with such amazing special effects, the fighting just looked so unreal and so staged, like the slowest fighting I've ever seen. Ugh, it would have been a perfect drama if the fighting wasn't as fake. But there wasn't too much of it, so that did not make me too upset about it. And the one last thing I have to ask is, why are Koreans so terrified of marriage? It seems like in every drama when the question of marriage does come up, it's like this ungodly, unworthy thing that no one should speak of and everyone is terrified of, and I'm like, man, you guys are 30 and you have feelings for each other and you want to be together. Marriage is normal. It is okay. It just seems like this kind of societal thing in Korea about marriage. I don't know about it because I've never been to Korea, but it just appears in a lot of dramas where marriage is mentioned. It's just like this scary boogie monster that everyone's like, oh my god, no, marriage, physical contact. That's all I have to say about this amazing drama. I suggest you all go watch it. It is really, really good. Being 100% honest, this wasn't the best drama I've ever seen in my life. However, I did feel after finishing this drama that, oh man, you know, I really spent this time well. Like, I didn't feel like it was a waste of time. That's all I got for today. I hope you all have a very, very good, productive week. Stay healthy, stay safe. I'll see you all soon. And yeah, bye, annyeong.